I am very promiscuous. I have many partners. I have sex with about 1 or 2 new partners a week on top of all my regulars on my roster. No, I am not an escort. I am a pro Dom when I want to be, but I do it for fun, not to get paid. I am just a woman who loves sexual experiences. But I'll have you know, no matter how much sleeping around I've done, I have never ever had a sexually transmitted disease. This is the Mistress Code, part of my sex positive series. I'm RacyWilde. Oh, and if you don't believe my body count, I have pictorial evidence of my promiscuous ways in naughty places. To the men who try to shame women for body counts, I don't want a man. I want all of them. Why haven't I had an STD if I have had sex with so many people? You could say I have just been lucky, and that might be so, but I am a safety girl, and I have a very strict safety code. I value my personal health and safety, but I am also very serious about the health and safety of my sexual partners. As a dominant woman, I am the one in control of sexual health and safety for both me and my partners. It's not to say that my partners are not responsible. They most certainly are, and I expect them to be. And when they are, especially constructively, I crush on them even more. Being healthy and safe is damn sexy. But because I am the leader of our dynamic, the architect of our experiences, being a dominant woman, I design health and safety into everything we do. Being so proactive with health and safety makes my partners feel very respected, safe with me, and super comfortable. So I have had sexual experiences with over 2,000 people. So it's actually more than that that I've lost count. Because I have had so many sexual partners, I could easily be patient zero, and no way in hell would I want that. However, not all is as what it seems, and this is one of the keys to my success of navigating an STI. I'm going to share with you what I do to maintain sexual health and safety for everyone. Number 1, the very first thing, I get tested regularly for STIs, and when I get the results, I share them with my regular partners. I also show the results to casual partners if they ask. I encourage all my partners to be tested regularly. Also, if I am doing any sexual activity with someone that has a high risk, I require that partner to produce an up-to-date STI test, and I will do the same for them. It's about respect. Secondly, limited PIV. PIV sex means traditional heteronormative penetrative intercourse. Now, of course, I do have PIV sex, but I am very selective and I do not engage in it with everyone I meet or with every partner I have. In fact, most of my BDSM experiences do not include penetration of me. And in a lot of those experiences, there is no penetration whatsoever. Sex or a sexual experience doesn't necessarily mean PIV, intercourse. I have had the most amazing sexual experiences and relationships without penetration. Vanillas, everyday people, tend to only value sex as PIV, and that is so limiting. As a dominant woman who is sex positive, I value all sexual experiences. That includes everything non-PIV. My understanding of what a sexual experience is very broad. Most people think a sexual experience is about some form of physical intercourse, but for me, a sexual experience is an erotic moment. It can be physical, mental, or even spiritual, but it is something that activates arousal and gives pleasure. To be honest, it is a lot more complicated than this. For my arousal isn't necessarily sexual and pleasure isn't necessarily positive. But to simplify, An erotic moment is when positive or negative emotions elicit a sexual response in me. For example, as a consensual sadist, someone else's fear can make me feel pleasure, or the reddening of skin, or watching my partner get erect from the pain I inflict. So, no PIV necessary. I also experience erotic moments from non-sadistic activities such as using a partner's back as a plate to eat off, or even from controlled sexual moments such as forced chastity. A lot of my erotic experiences with partners have been physically non-sexual, yet the arousal or the feelings from those moments have sometimes even developed into a physical orgasm for me. So, this means I approach sex and intimacy very differently from most people. And not having PIV does not affect the pleasure I get from erotic experiences. I will definitely elaborate on this in future episodes. So, of course, limiting PIV means controlling the chances of contracting STIs. Thirdly, the control of fluids. I have a general rule not to share fluids that my BDSM partners are happy to abide by. If I have a more vanilla connection with a person, non-sexual fluids, such as the transfer with kissing, is typically exchanged. However, I will not go down on someone without protection, a condom or a dental dam. And I do not give consent for casual partners to go down on me. However, my regular partners know how safe I am and that I only have a few partners that I share certain fluids with. In general, we agree to share fluids orally, but still we use condoms for protection during PIV. So you can begin to see how I have layers of protection depending on the connection and consent I have with a partner. Some casual partners think I am a little too strict with fluid sharing, but I know such control is very important to prevent getting STIs. One of my ex-submissives was an STI doctor, and oh my gosh, the horror stories he would tell me. He said that both men and women can contract an STI just from sitting in some fluid left behind by a person at a sex-positive club. Take note. Don't go naked at such clubs. Make sure you have protective material between you and the things you sit on. This also applies to men. Fourthly, protection. I, of course, use protection, which I require of everyone to be intimate with me. No barebacking, ever. I always have my own condoms and plenty of them, and I always tell my own men to take their own condoms when having hookups. I buy condoms by the box, 144 pieces, so I rarely run out. Seeing such a big box certainly turns my partners on, but it means I never run out, and I am not stingy on using what I need for an experience. So yes, I go through several condoms during a sexual experience. With my BDSM partners, I condom up all insertion toys, and I continually refresh every 10 minutes or when needed because the integrity of the condoms can be compromised if used too long or vigorously. Likewise, with my vanilla or romantic partners, I refresh condoms. If we have stopped a few minutes for a breather or the condom is not sitting properly, getting scrunched because an erection has softened, then I snap it off and apply another fresh one. And sometimes accidents happen. You realize you started to put on the condom inside out, so it's necessary to grab a new one for protection. Don't just flip it over and use it, get a new one. I do have a couple of different size condoms on hand. One of my lovers is jumbo size, and even I get squeamish watching him trying to strangle himself with a regular size condom. Some guys do complain about condoms making it hard for them to climax, but I don't care. Condoms or nothing. Usually, if it is a big problem, they can always pull out, take the condom off, and do a porn ending in a designated spot if they are finding it hard to finish with a condom on. There has only been 2 guys who have demanded not to wear a condom. One guy wanted to go bareback from the start, and I showed him the door. The other guy tried a condom, but was struggling to finish. He took it off and gave me an ultimatum. Either I let him use no condom, or he will leave. It was a no-brainer for me. I said goodbye and showed him the door. But I want to make it clear. Guys do not need to finish in order for you to both have an amazing sexual experience together. Quite often, I am the only one who gets to finish several times, and the guy never gets to, and that is completely okay. I have been with some guys who can't finish at all. It's just how their body works. So they know this going into our sexual experience. They still wear a condom. We have a great time, I finish, and they always are satisfied with that. They are the type of men who get pleasure from watching their partner get pleasure, and I love that. The other protection I use is gloves. Yep, if I am doing any backdoor play with a partner, I always use gloves for hygiene and safety. I change them every few minutes or when I'm applying new lube to keep things under control, clean, fresh, and to limit transference. Plus, gloves can also look sexy, and they are a dream for those with a medical fetish. 5. Selection. I must admit that the selection of partners is very important. I always choose people that have good hygiene and care about their body. The men I have sexual experiences with prepare their bodies very well, especially the ones who are into BDSM. They are so clean, they squeak. I really appreciate the effort they put in. And I must say, men are a lot better today at taking care of themselves than they were 20 years ago. I get very turned on when I have just made a booty call meet with a guy and he says, "I'm just jumping in the shower and I'll be right over." Now, this is going to be quite controversial, but when choosing casual partners, it can be a lot harder to judge by a photo on dating apps if they are going to be clean or not. Sometimes they might look perfectly well dressed and clean shaven, but when they arrive, they are sweaty, have foot odor, or their breath smells. The reason these ring alarm bells for me is because if they can't get it together generally, then I get nervous with what's underneath their clothes. Of course, it can be difficult to choose the cleanest men for random hookups just from photos, but it's not impossible. From apps, I pick men with a short, stylish haircut who are clean shaven or have a designed beard and do mansculpting on their body. You can see mansculpting in their shirtless pics. I also choose men who are fit because that demonstrates they care for themselves and they can reach places on their body easily for cleaning. And dick pics tell a lot. I am one who loves dick pics. Firstly, because I'm a perv, but they can tell you a lot about a man and his cleaning habits. I would encourage anyone to take a peek so you know beforehand what you are in for. If a man is shaven, then you know he is sexually conscious and likes to present well for his partners. It never used to be like this. And being Australian, I was very much used to bush. In fact, bush actually helps protect against STIs. Pubic hair not only creates a barrier, but there are no microcuts or blood from shaving, no mucus from healing skin, etc. But nowadays, shaven is the fashion. But it also means the guys who do shave are demonstrating they take care of their hygiene and are likely more proactive in not getting STIs. Plus, being shaved, it is easier to see if they have anything to be concerned about. Cleanliness of their junk is important. A photo can help you see if he has any blemishes or crust or a large amount of fluid, even cuts from shaving. The men who demonstrate a pristine area are pretty aware of cleanliness. A last note, I've only spoken about health and safety in regards to STDs here. Of course, there is a lot more that needs to be considered before you ever have fun time with a stranger. It is not for everyone. I enjoy it, and I have been doing this for a very long time, so I have developed special protocols for health and safety. However, some of these protocols I will never disclose publicly because that is a rule in keeping safe. You do not expose your safety measures to everyone, but all my experiences have been fantastic. All the people I've met have been fantastic. Sometimes strange, mostly gentlemen, but always considerate. And I am very happy to continue meeting strangers for fun. The most important thing is stick to your standards. Prepare yourself for a great sexual life by having all your safety protocols in place, by having all your standards in place, and make them known to all your sexual partners.